call this school board meeting to order at 7 o'clock on 26th of June. Have a roll call, please.
Mr. Armstrong?
Here.
Mrs. Bedio? Here. Mr. Bonacci?
Here.
Mrs. Matthews? Here. Mrs. Powers? Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to move to item 3, comments from the audience. And again, I need to emphasize, if anyone plans to speak, do not address the board by name or any employee of the school district by name. And due to the length of the agenda tonight, I will limit everyone to 3 minutes tonight. So, anybody want to speak? Right here. Mr. Murray.
So that I can, you want me to stand here?
That's fine, we're close enough, we all can hear you.
In order that I stay focused, I'm not used to doing this just off the top of my head, so I wrote everything out to stay within the 3 minutes. I'm speaking to you tonight without any aspirations of running for school board, city council, or any other elected positions at this time. I'm speaking to you only as a concerned community member. I was at a school board meeting in March where it was brought up about hiring a person for a business manager / director of operations position. In other words, adding another top-level administrator to this district. This school board must have had previous meetings on this subject and has decided that this district, and more importantly, that the Stow Munroe Falls communities would support you in your intentions of spending a minimum of an additional $125,000 a year. And the way I came up with that is just a ballpark, I don't know. Salary, medical insurance, pension, car and entertainment expenses, salary annuities, paid vacations, and so on. Has this school board already decided that we can afford an additional expense in excess of $625,000 every 5 years, and obviously $1.25 million 10 years? Is this Stow Munroe Falls community to believe that this new position that you are proposing will save this district in excess of $125,000 each and every year? That's what it'll take just to get at a break-even point. No one has heard, at least in our community, what the tangible specifics are of where you plan to save money. In this economy, it's not good enough to hear this position will pay for itself. Remember, you are starting out with a $125,000 deficit. That's the salary and expenses that go along with that salary. Are you guaranteeing a savings of $125,000 plus each and every year? Will you eliminate this position the first year it does not constitute $125,000 savings? Excuse me. This Stow Munroe Falls community stood behind our school district, the school board, the levy committee, and agreed to pass a new money levy in 2011. One reason that it passed was the fact that it would not be used for hiring of any new administrative positions, and also that any chaired school board would police every dollar that was spent. This new money levy was to feed our coffers for the next 10 years through 2021. I see no way with the with the spending trend that you are proposing that we will have any new levy money for the next 10 years as promised. This board needs to stay focused and realize what $125,000 could do for this district and the children we are educating instead of creating another top administrative position. Some examples. I'll get there. I'm just not done with it, seriously. 2 new teachers each year. 3 to 4 new support or classified positions each year. Or 1 to 1.25 new buses each year, interest-free. In other words, pay cash for them. You got $125,000. 125 new laptop computers for our classrooms each year. Or 200 new iPads for our classrooms each year, or 625 new, let's call them $200 textbooks for our students each and every year. $125,000 worth of maintenance or unexpected expenses for our schools each year.
You got about 10 seconds.
Okay. I'll just pull out the, have you even considered a permanent improvement levy, earned income tax, instead of hiring somebody now, have somebody come in after you get some more new money? My last comment. Not all of this current board supported and or offered their time on the new money tax levy. One has to question why these same persons are so anxious to spend the money that you want to spend of the new tax money. New tax levy, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Anyone else? Dawn?
I looked over the agenda today, and I didn't see anything regarding a new position. Now, how is it that it's out there and I'm not aware that this is going to be acted upon tonight?
The position was obviously, Rod did a presentation a while ago on it.
Yes?
Okay. And it could come, and it's been discussed, and it could come up tonight on a new business.
Uh-huh.
So that's why it's not on the agenda. It could, may not.
But this was a good, spiel. And I disagree with most of what Mr. Mariola said. But I'm really surprised at how much he put into this when you make a decision tonight. I think it's really interesting that, it must have come up, he must have been told something.
I was here, Don. I was here when, in this room, in fact, when it was brought up in very extensive.
I know it's been brought up. I understand that. I did not realize that it was going to be tonight, and obviously you did.
I don't know when it's going to be.
Obviously you did, Mr. Mariola.
I had no idea when it was
Thank
going to
you.
be.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on to item 4, recognition. I believe Dr. Jones, you'll take this.
It's really a pleasure and an honor to recognize one of our bus drivers, Lori Fanger, who has distinguished herself and represented the district so well in the state bus rodeo competition. And she has been a part of that for a number of years. And just to give you a little thinking time, I've talked to Larry a little bit and you about some of the specific things. I think the audience and the board would like to hear some of the things you actually have to do. But it's a competition of bus drivers from not only our district but others. And a little bit of history, if I may.
Yes.
2008, Lori in our region finished in 8th place and was named Rookie of the Year. And then 2010, she finished 28th place in the region. And 2011...
14.
I will divide by 2. 2011, 3rd in the region and 9th in the state. 2012, 14th.
Yes.
In the region. Working off what I have. Last year, and she was recognized 1st place in the region and 6th in the state. Now I'm going to get you here in just a second when I'm done. She was 6th in the state last year, 1st in the region this year, 7th in the state this year. How'd you drop down?
Because I gave Flat Stanley a kiss.
Congratulations. About the competition?
Sure. And if I could add to my score, I'm proud and I boast a little bit that I killed it this year at regionals, but I did get first place, but by 30 points, and that I am truly proud of. I cleared the competition.
It's a big margin.
So, yeah, I left, there was no room for anyone. So, the bus competition, it is a safety competition. We study and study and study. Some of us, we challenge ourselves. We are responsible to know all the laws that are out there. Ohio Revised Code, Ohio Administrative Code, the Ohio Pre-Service Manual, CDL Manual, and the Digest of Motor Vehicles. All that information, it is our job and our duties to know at all times. And all those laws give us the basis for what we do on a daily basis. It's everything we do, every tedious little movement we make in our bus when we're loading and unloading is spelled out in the law so that we transport our students properly and safely at all times. And in the rodeo, we do a written test. It's knowledge and pre-trip on all those things, all those laws, all those procedures. It's 100 questions. And then we do a maneuverability course, which includes student pickup, drop-off, railroad track crossings, backing up to close objects like Stanley, then we turn around and just type things. We go in and out and weave in and around, and in the pictures there that I brought, so you can see it too a little bit of what we do. It just challenges us. I love the challenge to make myself better each and every year, and to know that I know the information I'm responsible to know, so that my students, I take pride in my job, and it shows on the inside and the outside of my bus. You won't find my bus dinged and scratched up because it's not my bus, it's your bus, it's your bus. And I take really good pride and care of your investment. And without me, without other drivers, there's a student out there that may not get to school every day. So I'm bringing them to you to be educated, and I'm an important role in that. And I do my best, and I try and get everybody else to do their absolute best as well. So I love it.
Thanks so much.
Just so everyone knows, all of our buildings,
2 inches.
Wow.
just so everyone knows, all of our buildings have building leadership teams, and we also have a district leadership team that are representatives from those building leadership teams and help kind of the guiding force for our school district. And Lori's a member of our district leadership team, so we appreciate that. Also have a certificate of excellence for you. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I would like you guys to invite you guys to ride along with me.
Without the kids, right?
And all you need to do is be an authorized passenger is have Dr. Jones's approval.
Okay. Only if he comes along. Yeah, like
Sure, come and see what it is that we do.
Thank you.
Amy Conrad wrote it. Yeah, Amy wrote it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great accomplishment. Okay, we're going to move to item 5, the minutes. Is there a need for me to break these out, or can I clump them together? Anybody have a problem clumping together? No. Okay, I'd like to have a motion to approve the 4 minutes from May 19th regular meeting and the June 9th special meeting.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mrs.
Betty.
Betty, oh, sorry. Second by Mrs. Matthews.
So quiet.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bedio. Aye. Mr. Bonacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong.
Aye. Move to item 6, the treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report. First item, financial report for May 2014. I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve the financial report for May 2014 as presented in Exhibit Number 1.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Mrs. Potts. Second by Mrs. Roll call.
Mr. Bonacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mrs. Betty.
Aye.
Next item, check register for May 2014. I wish to recommend that the Board of Education approve the check register for May 2014 as presented in Exhibit Number 2.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Potts, second by Mr. Armstrong. Roll call.
Mrs. Matthews.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Mrs. Bedio?
Aye.
Mr. Benacci?
Aye.
Close of the fiscal year 2013-14. I wish to recommend to the Board of Education grant the treasurer permission to transfer, advance, modify receipt estimates and appropriations in order to close the books for 2013-14 as presented in Exhibit Number 3. And a comment on 2 of the advances listed in the exhibit. They are asterisk with the hope that we will receive those by June 30th. We are still conducting business and guessing the close of the year. And in the event those do not come in, we would advance those funds and they would be returned then next year when the funds come in.
So moved.
Second?
Mrs. Matthews, second for Mr. Armstrong. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mrs. Bedio.
Aye.
Mr. Benacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews.
Aye.
Permanent appropriation resolution for fiscal year 2014. I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve the final appropriation resolution for fiscal year 2014 as presented in Exhibit Number 4.
So moved.
Second. Move by Mr. Armstrong, second for myself. Roll call.
Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mrs. Bedio.
Aye.
Mr. Benacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
The temporary appropriation resolution for fiscal year 2015. I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve the temporary appropriation resolution for fiscal year 2015 as presented in Exhibit Number 5.
So moved.
Second?
Move by Mrs. Powers, second by Mr. Armstrong. Roll call.
Mrs. Bedio.
Aye.
Mr. Benacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Unclaimed stale dated checks. I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve the unclaimed stale dated checks totaling $555.01 as detailed below on the agenda to be moved to Fund 007 unclaimed funds until such time as it can be determined that the checks be turned over to the State of Ohio Unclaimed Funds Program.
So moved.
Second?
Move by Mr. Armstrong, second Mrs. Powers. Roll call.
Mr. Benacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mrs. Betty.
Aye.
Next item, accounts payable, stale dated checks. I wish to recommend that the Board of Education approve the accounts payable, stale dated checks as listed on the agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Myself, Ms. Powers, second. Roll call.
Mrs. Matthews.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mrs. Bedio.
Aye.
Mr. Benacci.
Aye.
And the high school athletic account stale dated check was also included in that motion. The next item is a resolution to return of NSF checks, and I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve the resolution totaling $373.75 in NSF checks. As
So
presented.
So moved. Second?
Ms. Powers, Matthews. Roll call.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mrs. Bedio.
Aye.
Mr. Benacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews.
Aye.
Next item, the Kempton STEM Club. And wish to recommend the Board of Education approve an account for the Kempton STEM Club, Fund 018, with the Special Cost Center assigned at 9644 for the purpose of giving students the opportunities for exposure to science, technology, engineering, and math concepts and applications while giving the students opportunities to work together with like-minded students in a social team building environment.
So moved.
Second.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yes, please.
How would this be funded? Donations or certain amounts set aside from the general fund, or?
This is a Fund 018, so the they establish a purpose, as I just read.
Right.
And then they do fundraisers, and they do projects to help meet the goal and purpose of their club.
Okay.
And so that, it funds itself, we call it a Rotary type.
The clubs do a purpose and policy statement, our purpose for existence, how we're gonna raise funds, and what we will spend them on, what the plan is, and with the budget also. That has to be approved through our offices ahead of time. So it's fundraising, and they tell us how they're gonna spend it.
And I assume that they'll be subject to the $75 club fee?
Yes. Only if there's an advisor being paid.
Oh,
We
true.
don't have a stipend for this, so that would.
You don't have a stipend for an advisor yet?
No.
Okay.
So, consider it.
Good.
That's a fiduciary fund.
Roll call?
Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mrs. Bedio.
Aye.
Mr. Benacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
And that concludes my portion of the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7, superintendent's recommendations.
Thanks, Mr.
Dr.
Benacci.
Jones?
Item A is personnel recommendations. I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve the certified classified employee recommendations as presented in Exhibit number 6 and 6A.
So move.
Second?
Discussion?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
I have questions about that. I mean, not that I would ever not have our classified employees get paid for work rendered, but I'm not sure about how this is. I mean, are they've already been paid, right? Because when the days come,
You're an item.
You're ahead.
Oh, I'm on the wrong
We're
one.
certified right now.
oh, the certified, okay, Deb, certified can do.
Well, this is employment
This is
recommendations. It's
employment
not
classified.
payment for.
Okay, okay. I thought we were on the one where we're paying for the non-teaching employees.
No.
Okay, well, no discussion, I'll get to that next time.
While we're in discussion mode, I want to say something about this item, Russ.
Okay.
At work today, where I should have been working, I looked at your, at this chart that you did for all the teachers that have left and the new ones that you have hired, and I have to say, on the back of the envelope, I wouldn't want to be audited on this, but if you look at the salaries that are leaving versus the salaries that are coming in, the difference is $460,000 to the good in the savings. We have even the 3 new kindergarten teachers that we hired on our action previous meetings, was about $160,000. Again, it's not benefit, strict salary. So you got about $300,000 savings in salaries going into next year off the back of the envelope, which is great, great job. And you know, I mentioned before when we talked about the kindergarten, how would you fund it? I believe if you go back with the video, I said you're going to fund it by the savings you'd have by experienced teachers leaving, hiring new 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-year employees. That's exactly what you guys did. Congratulations, guys. It's improved it here, and it's a good thing. So I just want to bring that to your attention.
We appreciate that, and we got a lot of good people, and one of them's here. Kurt Long is out here in the audience.
Congratulations.
Intervention specialist at Kempton, who lives in Maryland.
Wow.
You're not going to commute.
Are you a Ravens fan?
Yeah.
You're probably not a Cleveland fan. If you are, I'm sorry. You're in for a long, hard journey.
That's awesome. Welcome. Thank you.
Did we have a motion second?
Yes, we did. It
Okay,
was
roll call.
Mrs. Bedio.
Aye.
Mr. Benacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong.
Item B is authorization for payment for certain non-teaching employees. Wish to recommend the Board of Education approve additional payment for certain non-teaching employees who, as identified in Exhibit number 7, worked 1 or more additional school days as a result of the June 9 and 10 makeup days approved by the board. And just to preempt you slightly, Pat.
Go ahead, Russ, go ahead.
As you know, there's been a lot of legal information coming our way,
Yeah.
and our legal opinion is that the classified need to be paid for these days, and certified not. And the OEA representative, Lee Blandon Ernest, concurs with that as well. So that's the reason for the recommendation.
Yeah, I was questioning, in fact, I've talked to several people, and Karen included over here, and I said, I'm confused. So we're paying them double Because we've already paid them, haven't we not, in their paychecks already? When the calamity days occurred, they didn't not get paid when they were home those days?
You want to do it?
No, go ahead.
In my limited legal intelligence here, from what I can understand from our attorneys
Yeah, I
here,
know, right, I read it.
the way, yeah, you read it?
I read it.
Well, now, the way.
Point of order, we don't have a
You
motion
asked the
on the
question,
floor.
he's gonna read it to you again.
Mrs. Medio said we don't have a motion.
We don't
on-
have a motion on the floor so that you can go into discussion.
Okay, I make a motion.
A second.
Thank you.
Discussion.
Thanks,
Be
Jerry.
legal
Back to
Thanks,
discussion.
Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah.
So, the way I understand it is, what our legal opinion is that on the new CBA contract we have, we pay the employees for calamity days. There is no limit, okay? The state superintendent, she did authorize a calamity day. But the legislator and the governor did not approve the 2 extra days as a waiver of the 182-day limit. So what happens, we have to pay them for the calamity days, but we have to work those 2 days after school, at the end of school. And we have to pay them because they worked. The calamity day is, if they were available to work, we call it a calamity day. In our new contract, we have to pay them. That's what the legal, if I interpret that correctly,
I
Rob.
think that's what I read. I was just confused about the number of days to fulfill their contract. And 184, I think, is what was his name, Ryan
Yeah.
Smith?
There's a spreadsheet.
I have it.
Yeah.
I have
Okay,
it.
go through the
I
spreadsheet,
did.
maybe afterwards, I can
Yeah, I
take you through that
did. You're right.
spreadsheet again.
I'm just still concerned because, number one, of course I want the classified to be paid for whatever they worked. But on the other hand, I don't want our community, our taxpayers, to be paying double, whatever. And then on the other hand, what about the people that didn't come into work? Are they getting paid also? I mean, how does that work? The ones that didn't come in, the 9th and the 10th, who chose not to come in.
Well, it all depends if they had a sick day or whatever. If they just flat out choosing not to come in, we're not gonna pay them.
Okay.
But you mean for the calamity day?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
No, for the 9th and 10th.
Okay.
For that makeup day. I mean, I'm just curious, I mean, I know that, we have to pay for the 7 calamity days, period. The 5, and then we, since Dr. Jones decided not to do whatever the bags were, they came in.
Blizzard bags.
There you go, blizzard bags. But on the other hand, I just can't get in my mind, and I'm not a math major, but it just, I mean, since we already paid them when they were home for those 2 days, I don't understand how we pay them again when they came in. But anyway, I know we have like a difference of opinion between the auditor and the lawyers,
There wasn't a difference of opinion in the auditor, not what I read.
I think there was.
I think
The
there
I think so,
auditor-
because I don't think the auditor was told that there was a legal opinion.
But
The auditor
The auditor
was
was
told
told.
that.
here's what I would recommend.
Yes, Fred.
I think if you disagree, I think what you need to do is take the legal opinion, take the clause out of our new contract regarding calamity days, and send it to the auditor, whoever you're dealing
I
with.
did.
All right, then let's get something back from him, and he can work it out with our attorney. But
You do have the written copy, and I think that that's where the confusion comes in, is that, and I tried to email and make sure that everybody was clear on the intention. According to the auditor, the auditor's opinion was, I only had authority, the treasurer only has authority to pay 5 days, so if the board wanted to pay the extra 2, no problem, we would just need board action. And it would be really, I think, more succinct if this said to pay the 2 calamity days that weren't approved for the audit purposes, so that it's clear that your intention was to pay for those. And then anyone who worked and filled out a time card would naturally get paid anyways. That would be extra for them.
Could I address another situation? If we would have gone and made up the days like other districts did at a half hour before or half hour after, we still would have had to pay certain employees extra time. So it's still a cost factor either way you look at it.
I think on the makeup hours, those were non-paid hours because you actually,
The extra days, I'm
Making
talking
them
about
up.
the 2 extra days. If we had to make up that time, we would have to pay other employees somehow,
Well-
because they'd have to be there. So it would still be a cost factor.
If this motion just is to clarify that we are authorizing Mrs. Bulgren to pay the 7 days and not get into all of the specifics, because I don't think we're going to go anywhere with it. I would be willing just to leave it at that.
That would take care of.
That would take care of it, and
Of what
then,
the auditor
and let them figure out
difference was, yes.
whatever. Okay.
So we have a motion, we have a second.
Did we?
Oh, so,
No, we did a motion?
Yes, they did.
Already discussed.
It's
So-
discussed.
I get a roll call.
can I clarify something?
Sure.
Are we saying that we're approving to authorize the treasurer to pay the 7
Paying what the
family
motion
days?
says.
Just as it's stated right
Superintendent
there?
read, yes.
It
Sorry.
doesn't say what Pat just added.
We're paying what the superintendent motion
Based on what the motion
said.
said.
Roll call, please.
Okay, is that okay, Pat?
Actually, I mean, I want to clarify that we're paying those 7 days, but somewhere in there, are we paying the people that didn't come to work? Was that
No,
part
we're
of the?
paying, we're
We're only
paying
paying
people
those
for
that
2
came.
extra
No, it
days.
says worked 1 or more
Right.
additional.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I
they
think
worked.
that might clarify that,
People work.
the
Yeah,
people
they
that
worked.
worked. Does that clarify it?
No, it's clarified, there's a statement behind there that says, there's a spreadsheet,
I saw
and
that.
it says who they're paying, and the people who come to work, they're paid by the hour. When they come into work, you get paid. If you're an hourly employee, when you come into work, you get paid. If you don't come into work, you don't get paid unless it's a vacation time or something.
Ron,
Or
if it
unless
was
it's a
clear,
time off.
I would not have been
Okay,
asking
that's
questions.
what I'm trying to
Yeah,
clarify.
it's not.
Trying to clarify.
It's not clear.
Because
I
you
mean,
asked the
it's a
question.
bunch of mumbo jumbo
So
when you
we're
read
having
it
a
all.
discussion now, and I'm trying to
Right.
clarify.
Okay.
And because it's a calamity day,
Mhm.
and the contract says calamity days, we get paid, they get paid for it.
Mhm.
So they got paid for their calamity days. So they didn't come in, but they're hourly. Now, they worked, they came into work, okay, and they're hourly people, okay? And so they got paid for the hours that they came into work, on what their time card said. Their time card isn't stamped, well, they didn't come into work on those days,
I think-
then they don't get paid.
I think Pat's question is, and it's warranted, is, are those who didn't come in the 9th and 10th getting paid for the all 7 calamity days? And that's where the clarity is not, because, yes, the legal says the contract has it covered, but the auditor said the contract only covers 5 days. And to answer Pat's question, if the board's intention is to pay all 7 days, then yes, those employees did get paid for those 7 days. And then if they worked, those are extra days. Anything extra that you work past that is extra.
They get paid for 5 days. If they came in to work 9th and 10th, they get paid additional.
Yes.
It's that simple.
Okay.
They didn't come in, they didn't get paid. Unless they were
Okay.
sick, or whatever. They get sick, day, whatever, I don't know how it works.
Well, that's not paying them 7 calamity days then.
You're paying them the contract states calamity days in the contract. The state superintendent did not deny the calamity day. What they denied was they wasn't gonna use those 2 days as a waiver off the 182 days. But our contract did not say 5 calamity days in the contract. It said we will pay them for calamity days if they're available to work. And those 7 days were calamity days. So we have to pay the union. And then we ask them to come back and work 2 more days at the end of the year, and we have to pay them.
We got a legal opinion.
We got a legal opinion, so I think we
So
move
let's move
on.
on.
And do the roll, and I think that's what we're doing. And if your person you're dealing with has an issue, then he needs to direct it with our council and work through it.
Well, you would just direct it to the auditor of state, it seems. where we-
Then the auditor state needs to work with our council. Yeah,
Doesn't-
Let's move on.
do the roll call.
Mr. Benacci?
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews?
Aye.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Mrs. Bedio?
Aye.
We have several contracts. I'll just throw it out if the board is interested in me lumping them together. If there's any concern about that, there would be item C through item K. Any objection if we take items C through K together?
I have
That
no
would be-
objection.
No objection.
No.
And hearing that, I wish to recommend that the board approve the items listed in your agenda C through K as they are listed.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Mrs. Matthews?
Aye.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Mrs. Bedio?
Aye.
Mr. Benacci?
Aye.
Item L is Ohio Schools Council membership. I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve membership for the district to the Ohio Schools Council for the 2014-15 school year. This allows us to get group purchasing rates on all kinds of different opportunities.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Powers, second by Mr. Armstrong. Roll call.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Mrs. Bedio?
Aye.
Mr. Benacci?
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews?
Aye.
Item M is property and fleet insurance, and I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve the district's property fleet liability insurance with Ohio School Plan Fidelity and Deposit Insurance Company of Maryland, a subsidiary of Zurich Insurance through Love Agency from July 1, 2014 to June 30, 2015, as presented in Exhibit Number 16.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Powers, second by Mr. Armstrong. Roll call.
Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Mrs. Bedio?
Aye.
Mr. Benacci?
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews?
Aye.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Item N is disposal of equipment. I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve the disposal of miscellaneous items in accordance with Board Policy 7310, a copy of which is available in the Treasurer's office.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Matthews, second by Mr. Armstrong. Roll call.
Mrs. Bedio?
Aye.
Mr. Benacci?
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews?
Aye.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Item O is a resolution authorizing the superintendent to enter into an agreement with Kent State University, and I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve the resolution authorizing the superintendent to enter into this agreement as presented in Exhibit Number 17.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Armstrong, second Mrs. Powers. Roll call.
Mr. Benacci?
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews?
Aye.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Mrs. Bedio?
Aye.
Item P is adoption of updated Neola Board policies, and I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve the adoption of the updated Neola Board policies as presented in the attached exhibit. And just a quick comment for your consideration. It takes 3 readings for, according to our bylaws, to approve policy. And just, again, just throwing it out there to consider maybe making it 2. This was Neola update that came to us, I think, February, March-ish, and by the time we kind of got through it, and then we go through our meetings and readings, it's taken us till, towards the end of June to get it finalized. So just, again, not looking for an answer now, but just to consider, instead of 3 readings, maybe consider doing it with 2.
Some of that was my fault because I was reviewing policy at the time and
Right.
I didn't get back to Fonka in time. Do we have some more now that we can look at?
Not yet, but
Okay.
having said that, I'm sure there's going to be a stack tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it is time consuming because this,
Yeah,
the
I
whole- the
understand.
whole process, as you know, you're looking here, and it's
And I understand.
It's
I was about 2 months behind at
Yeah.
that point.
not a problem. But there's something to consider.
So moved.
Second. Mrs. Powers, second myself. Roll call.
Mrs. Matthews?
Aye.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Mrs. Bedio?
Aye.
Mr. Benacci?
Aye.
Item Q are gifts. I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve the following gifts. Mrs. Bertucci donated $25 for the speech and debate program at the high school. Besso Clinic, $200 for the speech and debate program at Stow Munroe Falls High School. Deborah Fabian and Moore family donated $1,000 for the speech debate program at Stow Munroe Falls High School. Kimpton Middle School PTA, $180 for the speech and debate program at the high school. Beth Kleiner, $100 for speech and debate at the high school. Marhofer Auto Family, $5,000 for the 2014 Making a Difference program at the high school. A couple of you were at that, which recognize some of our seniors. Vision Hair Design, $30 for speech and debate at the high school. Mr. Gordon Young, instrumental strings to Lakeview Intermediate, valued at $1,175. And Best for Stow, donated Greens Groomer to Stow Munroe Falls High School, valued at $3,170. And my favorite, the Litter Cat, valued at $7,945. And these two machines help us maintain the turf that we currently have. And when Mr. Prusa showed our guys how to use it, you know, it basically sweeps and cleans out the turf, and they found things already, bobby pins and bits of earrings and stuff that kids could get hurt on. So anyway, that was
Basically
all.
like a vacuum, huh?
Yeah, I can sweep it out and suck it up. Oh, I'm sorry. Which one?
High school PTA, 500 for the
Oh, I'm sorry, I did miss the high school PTA, $500 for the senior breakfast at Stow Munroe Falls High School. My apologies.
Excellent. So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Powers, second by Mr. Armstrong. Roll call.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mrs. Bedia. Aye. Mr. Bonacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews.
Aye.
That's all I have, Mr. Bonacci.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. Move on to item 8. Is there any old business? Item 9, new business. We have a first reading for the math book textbook adoption for the high school. Is there any other new business?
Yes, Mr. Bonacci, having had a previous presentation for the district's need for a director of operations and provided the board with a job description, I would like to make a motion to create the position of director of operations reporting to the superintendent and to direct the superintendent to immediately start the process to fill this position.
Second.
Discussion?
Discussion?
Yes, I just want.
Discussion?
Please.
Okay. Guess it does seem like Mr. Mariola knew what was going on for him to be here today. First of all, I would question what hasn't been done over the past 5 years that we have done without an operation manager. Some specifics that haven't been done. If anybody could give me, so we need to really discuss this to make sure that this position is needed at this point. Okay?
Well, I'll start it off.
Start.
I'll start it off, sorry.
Sure.
With this position, and I believe we've been without it 6 years or better, we now have had a study done that our buildings need approximately $6 million plus in outside exterior work. Some of that, which I looked at, was basically things that I could personally do as far as sanding a door down and painting it. We have an example of the central office here where the garage doors, if I call them that go up are boarded and never painted. Even this board office is not kept up. And my opinion of that is that the superintendent and the treasurer have very important jobs and don't have the time to do what a director of operations in this list can do. To go out, make sure that maintenance is done, to make sure that everything is being taken care of, direct the supervisors in different facilities, to deal with the employees and that sort of thing. I feel that, and it's my personal opinion, we have failed the taxpayers by not having a business manager, with putting them so much in debt, which doesn't even take care of the building's interiors from the damage the exterior has done. It's ridiculous. So Mr. Mariola said we can't afford it. We can't afford not to have somebody. But
All I
that's
was
my
saying,
opinion.
Mrs. Benio, is
This is
that
the board
at
discussion, Mr.
$125,000.
Mr. Mariola.
That's okay.
We got your point.
And real quick, I gave the presentation and I have nothing further to add. At that time, I did give exactly how it's going to pay for itself. And I mean, you can always go back and look at that presentation. I think everyone here saw that.
Well, now, wait a minute, I was under the impression it had, not that it didn't have anything to do with your presentation, but how it was gonna be funded had nothing to do with your presentation. I mean, as far as what your parameters were in that presentation.
Our presentation is that there was areas in there that we.
Right, but we're not voting on
No.
the funding.
No, just a job.
No, but that question came up. I'm answering
Okay,
the question.
just want to clarify.
Yes.
Well, if I could interject, first of all, Mrs. Bedio, we do have a $6.4 million exterior structure study that was done, and it needs, we need work done. We have, and what I have here for you, just the summary, went through by year, and listed what we have been able to afford that we did get done. This district has continued to maintain its buildings and its structures to the extent that we can afford. We do have some permanent improvement funds that help us help facilitate 2 or 3 capital projects, and those are done every summer. There was a comment made at the board meeting that on March 29th that the former board lost its focus. And I want to make sure it goes on record. We have 2 former board members sitting on the board today. They did not lose their focus. They were very focused. As you can see, we have quite a few accomplishments. And if I could just reiterate a few things, our district has 212 acres of land and over 750,000 square feet of building space spread between 2 communities at 12 different locations. We are constantly keeping priorities handled that we can afford. It has been suggested in a few of our discussions publicly that I would recommend a permanent improvement levy. And once the proceeds from that levy could come in, and I gave an example of 1 mil. 1 mil for permanent improvements only would cost the $100,000 homeowner $35 a year. $35 a year. What would it bring into our district is just under $1 million a year. With that money coming in, we can start the blanket envelope study was set up in a priority structure. That was phase 1. Phase 2 would be the internals that would be looked at by electrical and mechanical engineers, so that together we can work on both phases with those funds and start to chip away and set up a true maintenance plan. I would be very supportive at that time in bringing in a director of operations and totally concur that this district could use one and could help facilitate that listing, that priority listing. Without those funds, I agree with what Mr. Mariola said. It was very astute observation to put someone in place before you have the funds to have them be able to, tackle these priorities is kind of ludicrous. And we don't have our facilities person here, Jason Smith. He is on vacation, but he was very concerned about taking that amount of money out of the budget when we in fact could use maintenance people. Mrs. Bedio, you made some very good points about central office. We're always the last on the list for priorities. Why? We have students here and we just deal with it. The student buildings are the top priority. We do need maintenance people. We need custodial staff. We have, over the years, a former board, Mr. Mariola was a part of, 2 board members seated, were very, very active and focused while we were addressing the capital projects annually. We also were asking for money. We were making reductions in staffing, reductions in expenditures over the term, what was it?
I think 8
$8 million,
cuts in terms of reductions.
$8 million in cuts and reducing expenditures. Our major focus in how many community meetings was that?
42 or 3 or something.
43 community meetings, what did we say? We were asked all the time, what happens when that levy passes, will you want staff back? We said no, we would stay status quo. So I feel very strongly that we have to stay true to what we've told our community, and because we didn't just say it once or twice. We went out to the community for over quite a few years, and we finally did pass that. We also had our staff for 2 years take a complete and total freeze to show the community that they realized the state that we were in. I am not opposed to a business manager or director of operations by any stretch of the imagination. I fully support it, but not until we have funds that would give that person an ability to be successful. You have to give a person the tools to work with in order to be successful.
May I interject real quick here? Real quick, and so we can get on with our vote, because we can cut discussion. I think we might have $1 million to work with next year. I know in the 5-year forecast, we have always put in the total amount of the hospitalization, and then we get, and then for the last several years, we've gotten holidays, which add up to about $1 million per year, 2-month holidays in that, even though that is $1 million is in the forecast. So right now, in next year's budget, we have forecasted $1 million more than what we need, because we're going to have a holiday for the healthcare. And that was ideal, is where, we could start, rather than, I don't know what happened with that money in the past when we got those holidays, but, maybe we should have been plowing that money back into the building, into capital improvements. When you put in the capital improvements, that's something that's going to stay. And there's other areas that the business manager, which was previously pointed out, will save us in various attorney, and because a lot of money's been shuffled over now to attorney fees and shuffled over to architect fees, and that they weren't there prior to. So what we did was we did the little shell game. We said, okay, we're not going to spend it here, but on the business manager, but watch it, here it goes, here's the shell, and where's it at? No, it's over here, I'm paying it out through payables.
I
And that's-
respectfully
You know what, I would
disagree.
like to see that in print. I would like to see that transfer that you're talking about over the last 5 years, since we did not have a business
I
manager.
was about to
I
say.
paid with it. I would like to table this until the future, because I want that information, I want that up. I think we're saying a lot of things without facts to back it up. And a lot of accusations of things not being taken care of. Let's face it, every homeowner has X amount of dollars to work with. So is the school system. When I was on board the last time, we were broke. We were absolutely broke. And as Mrs. Bulgren said, we even had our classified and our certified take a 2-year freeze. Okay, so I'm very against frivolously adding on another position without giving that person any money to deal with. We don't have the money. Look at that March meeting, which was supposed to have been about our $6 million trying to fix our schools, okay, which we didn't have a lot of discussion on it because something else was being discussed. Where did we get that money from? We have the little bit of permanent improvement money, which part of that goes for the interest to pay for the loan that our previous business manager took out for buses, 14 buses. We're still paying on that. 2021, 22? Okay, so we've got to have facts. You're saying it's going to pay for itself. And I'm saying, do we really need it? We have 2 people that have done a very good job. I thank them. They no increase in their salary, but to continue this discussion without big on the print facts, I would like to table this for the next meeting. This is too important to discuss and vote upon at the same meeting.
Are you making a motion?
I make it a motion.
You have a motion on the floor.
We have a motion.
Need a
We have a
second.
motion. on
I
the
need a
floor.
second.
No, we have a
You have a
motion
motion
already.
and a second.
We have a motion.
I thought we
already.
started
Motion
discussion.
to table takes
We have a
precedent
motion.
over a motion.
Motion to table takes precedent.
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment for you.
Sure,
Everyone
go
had a
ahead.
chance to speak. I've been listening,
Mhm.
listening to Denny, I listened to all of you. A lot of good points on both sides. In my opinion, like I said when I first ran, I don't come in previous to the agenda, I vote the way I believe. Personally, it was great, we had to make the cuts back then, I get it, the HR manager, the business manager, personnel. But then you gotta say, what Jerry said, it kind of stuck with me, and I heard Pat say the same thing when in kindergarten, you can't afford not to. I'm sitting back, if I'm a taxpayer, you can look on the other side of the coin, because we play both sides, that we got money invested in these buildings, are we giving it the full attention that we need? In my opinion, I went and sat and interviewed, we had lunch, Russ and I, with the business manager at Green High School. So I could fully understand what they do. And I believe, Rod, you met with a guy from Hudson.
Hudson High School, yes.
To understand the responsibilities and what they do day in and day out. We're the second largest school district in this county. Can we afford to put that responsibility on the superintendent? We have a flood in May. Riverview floods, Highland floods. Our superintendent is out at the flood and looking at the site. I don't want my superintendent out there. I want my superintendent running the schools and not going out to buildings and looking at floods and everything else. But listening to the business manager that I met with, what he does and how he networks with other business managers around in these schools. An example is Hudson's business manager has a plain template that any kind of contract he signs, it was written up by their attorneys, it's attached to the contract. Contracts don't have to get reviewed, because if the vendor doesn't sign it and agree to it, we don't do work with them. It takes all the cost away from attorneys constantly reviewing contracts, make sure they're right. Green piggybacks on the city of Green when they do asphalt with the city and gets a really good price, something we should look at. These little things come up when you network with other business managers. I don't feel they've done it, this is not a reflection on the job, Russ, that you've done, or the job, Kathy, you've done. You've done a lot of good things here. Jason's done a lot of good things here. I'm not saying that there's probably a lot more we can do. In my opinion, I want someone out there in the field 70% of the time, on the ground, outside, going to schools, working it, talking to principals, find out what's wrong. I'll give you a clear-cut example. High school, we got a loading dock, the bricks were busted up because the truck backed up. We fixed it, spent the money to fix it. We didn't fix it right because we didn't put 2 poles in front of the dock. 2 weeks later, the bricks are busted out again, probably by the same stupid truck that busted it the first time. So things like that, getting out in the field and handling the floods, have the director of operations telling the superintendent what's going on, making the decisions there, calling them, so you could call us and tell us what's going on, rather than you being out there waiting to get back from you. In my opinion, it's needed, and that's my opinion. And we can go.
We have our custodial maintenance supervisor, we have our transportation director, and our food service, and our IT.
I don't believe
They all.
I don't believe that the maintenance manager, the food service manager, and a bus manager should be reporting to the superintendent. Put all that on him on top of running these schools, I think it's too much. I think it's not fair to Russ or any superintendent in that
We're the
position.
only school district in the area of any, we're the second
We can,
largest, all small.
just give me my opinion, we can go on and we go your motion, see where they land, and go from there.
Okay, we have a motion to table, was there a second?
Yeah, I would like to second it, and I would like to have a chance to speak like everybody else did. I have heard all sides of it. My biggest problem with it is I'm very ambivalent about it. I see the pros, I see the cons. The reason I would like to second Mrs. Matthews' motion is because she feels she needs more information, and I think everyone on this board should be afforded to have a chance to get whatever information they need to get before they can be an informed voter, and I quite frankly feel the same way. I think it would be a good idea, because I do feel that you're way overwhelmed on way too many occasions, especially when things come up like the day it rained. You called me and told me, and I thought about that as I drove by on work that day. That, oh my God, what is going on in Highland? And literally half an hour later, you called me. because I realized that it's probably not good. But at the same time, I would like to see it really pinned down. And I don't feel at this moment that it's pinned down. But I do think it's a good idea. I think a lot more issues would be covered probably quicker than they normally are, because what happens now is it just comes to our attention most of the time. So I don't know. Again, I feel very ambivalent about it, but I also wanted to explain why I was seconding her motion. But I would like to continue discussion about it. I would like to see more financial information that we're talking about here, because it's easy to talk that, but when, not till it's on paper doesn't make sense, real sense.
And I really think it'd be good to have Jason here. Braun and Stidle
That
has
would
been
be helpful.
involved with the district for years. And they have all of our prints of the buildings for years and years. And they are very instrumental in these projects to help facilitate doing the right thing and getting it handled correctly. And I would rather see the money spent to do those projects and get them done. That being said, if there's no more discussion, the motion to table takes precedence, so it has to be voted. Okay, Mr. Armstrong,
No.
Mrs. Bedio,
No.
Mr. Bonacci,
No.
Mrs. Matthews,
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Okay, the motion to table fails, so the motion to create, and Mr. Armstrong, do you have the wording for that?
Yes,
Would
I
you
do.
share that with us, please?
And I also have,
Thank you. I couldn't write that fast. Thank you. And we had a Mr. Armstrong motion, Mrs. Bedio seconded. So is there any other discussion? Mrs. Bedio,
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci,
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews,
No.
Mrs. Powers,
I'm going to abstain.
Mr. Armstrong.
aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Mrs. Bogren, I changed it to aye instead of yes.
Oh, you got it.
So you understand.
Is there a need for executive session? Motion to adjourn?
Oh, second?
By Mrs. Powers, second by Mr. Armstrong.
Mr. Bonacci.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Mrs.